The day has finally come where Tim Hardaway Jr. is no longer a Dallas Maverick. I know Mavs fans were rejoicing all on Twitter, all on Reddit, all in my comment section, just happy that we finally made a move. The first move of many, I truly believe. But early this morning, the reports broke out. The Dallas Mavericks made a trade with the Detroit Pistons. We sent Tim Hardaway Jr. and like 3 second-round picks for Quentin Grimes. And in this video, we're going to break down that trade. We're going to take a closer look at Quentin Grimes and see what he brings to the Dallas Mavericks and whether or not we should keep him long-term or maybe repackage him up for another trade. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with this video, you guys did a great job of just smashing that like button on the last video. We hit like over 300 likes, but I challenge you guys, let's try to get to 400 likes on this video. I'm cranking out videos every single day, back to back. There's a lot of news to be covered, and I want to bring you guys just the best content, and all I can ask is that you like it. Thank you pretty much. But let's get on with the video because the news broke out this morning. I'm going to just throw it up real quick right here. The Mavs have traded Tim Hardaway Jr. and 3 second-round picks to the Pistons for Quentin Grimes. The sun broke through the clouds this morning. An array of sunlight shone down as God smiled on Dallas and all the Mavericks fans. Our prayers were answered, and Tim Hardaway Jr. is no longer Dallas Maverick. I wish him nothing but the best. He provided us some wonderful moments, some heartache, some headaches, and everything in between. His time here wasn't for nothing. He wasn't a complete negative. It was more so after the trade line of this past season where he really couldn't get adjusted to his role as he got pushed to the bench and then eventually getting DNPs. And from what I saw, it was pretty much mutual between the Dallas Mavericks organization and Tim Hardaway Jr. trying to find a deal to get him elsewhere. I know that we reported on this channel that the Washington Wizards were a potential landing spot where we probably would have got Landry Shamet back. But I'm a lot happier that we got Quentin Grimes. I feel like he's another player very akin to Josh Green who can come off the bench, give you some good three-point shooting, play above average defense, in my opinion. I think Quentin Grimes is a very underrated defender who can do a lot for this team. But trading for Quentin Grimes, getting rid of Tim Hardaway Jr., what does this actually mean for the Dallas Mavericks? Well, by trading Tim Hardaway Jr.'s contract, the Dallas Mavericks will free up the $12.9 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception as they want to re-sign Derrick Jones Jr. Quentin Grimes is entering the final year of his rookie contract and will earn just under $4.3 million in 2024-2025, which is amazing for us. We get somebody who plays very good defense. Like I said, I think he's an above average defender. He does shoot the three ball pretty well. I know in my last video we looked at his current season stats of the last season, and it didn't look that well. We'll take a deeper dive in a little bit here, but he does shoot the three ball very well. He can be a great 3-and-D guy for us for the cheap of just $4.3 million, and that frees up at least $12.9 million that we can throw at Derrick Jones Jr., who I think deserved it. He went from being at the end of the bench, coming off the bench, to then being a starter, and then in the playoffs, guarding the toughest assignment constantly every single matchup. Derrick Jones Jr., regardless of how you feel about him, he deserved this money. I'm not sure how it's going to break down, whether it's $12 million per year, $12 million broken down. We'll break that down as the news come out. But Quentin Grimes, we're going to take a quick look at his stats of this year. We're going to take a deeper dive and see what type of player we're actually getting. For last season, Quentin Grimes averaged 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1.3 assists per game, 0.1 blocks per game, 0.7 steals per game, 0.5 turnovers, and 1.5 fouls per game, while shooting 37% from the floor, 33% from 3. He shoots 35% on corner threes, 96% of his threes are assisted, and 73% of all shots are threes. And when we looked at this the other day, it looked very subpar. I said this is pretty much a very inefficient version of Josh Green. But we're just looking at last season's stats where if you didn't know, now you know. He played for the New York Knicks. At the trade deadline, he did get traded to the Detroit Pistons, and that's really where all of his efficiency, all of his numbers just dropped. He was a much better player in the system of the New York Knicks, and honestly, outside of Cade Cunningham, you can't really point out one other player who's playing very well in the Detroit Pistons, and Quentin Grimes, unfortunately, he did not fit that system. However, the type of person that he is, the fact that 96% of his threes are assisted, catch and shoot threes, I'm all for it. There was a game earlier in this season where Quentin Grimes dropped like 36 points on us, hitting like 4 or 5 plus threes. And I think that in our system where we get guys open all the time, Quentin Grimes will definitely flourish. And like I said earlier, his defense, I feel like, is above average. If you look at Tim Hardaway Jr., who you can argue he's a better shooter when he's good, right? We know he's up and down. He's hot and cold. You never know what version of Tim you're going to get. But if we're talking about consistency, Quentin Grimes is a more consistent three-point shooter than Tim Hardaway Jr., and that's just a fact. And if we're going to talk about defense, by a landslide, by a mile, Quentin Grimes is a much better defender than Tim Hardaway Jr. What Quentin Grimes brings to the Dallas Mavericks is bench scoring, three-point shooting, and just adds to the defense that we've already been growing. Like I said, we're one of the best defending teams in the league. Just by the numbers, our defense is top tier. And whoever we get to the Dallas Mavericks, whoever Nico Harrison wants to trade, sign in free agency, or re-sign to keep, they have to be able to add to that defense or at least just maintain that defense. I'm not saying we got to go after everybody that was all defensive first team. I'd love it. But if you're going to join the Dallas Mavericks, our new identity is just defense. You got to be great at defense, and you got to be able to create your own shot or at least score, right? So Quentin Grimes, I feel like he would be great for the Dallas Mavericks long term. I don't think we need to repackage him. I mean, he's only like, 24, 25 years old. He fits the timeline of a few other guys that are still developing, that are still getting better, alongside PJ Washington, alongside Josh Green, alongside Daniel Gafford, who are all going to get better. And I think Quentin Grimes very much just fits the mold of what we're looking for. But like I said, his stats while he was in Detroit weren't that good. Oh, I'm sorry, the memes. Let's first look at the memes. The memes of Josh Green and Quentin Grimes. I saw this online. I thought it was funny. Definitely want to show you guys because a lot of people are saying they're pretty much the same player. You're really getting the same more or less, which is fine because we kind of have that in Daniel Gafford and Derrick Lively where when one's off and they switch, it's the same production, same player. So Josh Green, Quentin Grimes, I mean, Josh Green's very great at the corner three. Quentin Grimes very good at catch and shoot threes. As long as he brings a hustle, hey, two hustle, man, that's better than one. But like I was about to bring up, his stats, Quentin Grimes' stats, if we take a look here, while in Detroit, it was just, he fell off a cliff. Everything fell apart. He probably didn't want to be there. I mean, he only played 6 games after the trade deadline. He obviously wasn't a part of the long-term picture with the Detroit Pistons. But if we look at a few seasons before this year, if we look at the 2022-2023 season where he was a sophomore, he shot 38% from 3 on 5.7 attempts. I like those numbers. I don't know about you guys. I like those numbers. You can shoot 38, almost 40% on 5, almost 6 attempts a game. And then the next year kind of fell off a little bit, 33% on 4.7 attempts. And then he got traded. So those numbers a little bit off. But for someone who's only about 23 years old, 24 almost, these are pretty good numbers. This is a pretty good starting point for somebody that can easily come into our system as a shooting guard, come off the bench, hit a few threes, play excellent defense. I mean, we know that Derrick Jones Jr. is one of our best point of attack defenders, and I'd argue that Quentin Grimes can also be a really good point of attack defender, just someone that contributes to defense, that actually puts an effort on defense, doesn't really have to rely on his own coverage, that if you want to go man on man, if you want to ISO Quentin Grimes, I'll trust it. Now, I'm not trying to overhype and oversell Quentin Grimes. I just think that for what he brings to the Dallas Mavericks, we can pull the best out of him. I feel like we're an organization and a team that if you are pretty good at something, we'll make you excellent at something. We saw that with PJ Washington. We saw that with Daniel Gafford, where they were pretty good at certain things in their respective teams. But once when they joined the Dallas Mavericks, we brought the best out of them. Daniel Gafford was a high-flying lob threat and a huge shot blocker. And his field goal efficiency was amazing. And then with PJ Washington, a lot of people weren't really sold on him, talking about he's not that good of a defender, and he became one of our best defenders. And I feel like the same can be said for Quentin Grimes, that if he comes to the organization and he actually wants to be here and actually put in that effort, we can pull the best out of him. He's 24, 23 years old, still very young, and there's a lot more that he can offer this team. And if he's coming off the bench providing hustle with Josh Green, I'm all for it. I love to see it. But one thing that we do want to look at right here is the money situation. This is the Dallas Mavericks 2024 offseason money. This is how it all looks, right? Because now that we traded Tim Hardaway Jr., we do have the money to pay Derrick Jones Jr. But I wanted to pull up a graphic to really show you guys what it all means. Our starting five, obviously, we have Luka, Kyrie, Josh Green, PJ, and Daniel Gafford. Not sure if Josh Green is going to be in our starting five. Obviously, you're going to put in Derrick Jones Jr. But if we don't have Derrick Jones Jr., then that's what it looks like. With our reserves being Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy, who's on a non-guaranteed contract, Quentin Grimes, now we traded for him. Also, AJ Lawson on a non-guaranteed contract. You have Omax, Maxi Kleba, Dwight Powell, and Derrick Lively. Our committed salary is $163 million. Give or take a couple million for Kyrie Irving. He's got a few utility bonuses in there. But our key free agent is Derrick Jones Jr., and we now have $12.9 million to give him, and we will still be under the first apron, meaning that this may not be the only move that we do. In all this money talk, we still have money to play with. We can still package up some trades. I know there were some reports the other day saying that we were potentially packaging Josh Green with Tim Hardaway Jr., obviously trying to see what the trade market looks like, trying to gauge the value of some of these players. If we can keep Josh Green cool, if we do have to trade him, I hope it's for someone else that can help the team out a little bit. But it's a good thing to know that even with all these trades, even with all these acquisitions, we now have Tim off the books. The money will go to Derrick Jones Jr. if we can still go after someone else, whether that be in a sign and trade situation or just sign someone straight up in free agency. The possibilities are endless, and the Dallas Mavericks are making all the right moves ahead of next season, because it's more than just making the finals. We want to win the finals. Not saying Quentin Grimes is going to help us win. I think he will help us win, but I don't think that he's like the missing piece. I think there's a few more pieces here or there that have to add to the Dallas Mavericks, that have to get done. And like I've been saying, in Nico we trust, it will get done. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making it this far into the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are doing another giveaway the first week of July. Next week, the winner will be announced during a live stream. So make sure you tune in for that. And until next time, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.